So just like generally, what did Mark do for the library?
Well, basically, if any attorney wanted a publication, then they would go to Mark and say, "I'd like to receive this publication for something in their subject area." Mark would look at the cost involved, talk to Donna, get approval from Jim, and then go ahead and okay the publication. If an attorney no longer wanted the publication, then Mark would determine whether it was good for just that one attorney or that just that subject matter, or if we should continue the publication for the rest of the office. So he was the go-to person to decide what we should get and what we shouldn't get, or how many copies we should have of a particular publication.
So like, has there been like a wide attorney demand for the words and phrases in the back corner?
I shouldn't say this, but I think Mark kind of liked to keep those books because they were nice and they had different colors. Usually you have very somber colors with the rest of the books, but the words and phrases were very colorful, nice, I believe, blue. And he just didn't want to part with them. They haven't been updated in years, but they're still back there by Jim's office.
Are you aware of the story a couple of years ago of Senator Lee coming into the office? Does that jog any?
No,
okay.
not
yeah,
that
he
one.
told a story briefly of Senator Lee coming through the front doors and going back with his clerks, showing them the great library of the office, and showed them, oh, and look, they have words and phrases. You can look up what the word bastard means. Words and phrases. So apparently it did come in handy. Let's see. Did you do any? Mark does a lot of like keeping office records and archiving. Did you ever work with him in any of that? Or?
The only thing that we had to be careful, there were certain books, like the final issue of the Senate calendar, the final issue of some other publications, and we had to try to remember, or he had to try to remember to get there before we tossed them. But he liked to save the final issues, and there's other books that he did save, and he's made room for the archived material. A lot of it's in a cupboard right outside here. There's some in the back office, and then he's also started a collection on the top of the shelf where only Mark could reach.
Perfect. I wanted to ask about that as well. So you got that. Any memories of Mark's of the big office move in 2000 that you can share with us? Or?
Well, I had just started. I started in June, and the office moved, I believe that September or October, maybe August, I can't remember, but I know Mark was instrumental in the move. He worked with Suzanne and Jim. He even had a hard hat that was given to him. And he went around and he was instrumental in figuring out the office space. I know I was here one Saturday when the movers came in to move the library. What we had to do, we had to mark everything because certain books went to storage out at Fort Meade, and then certain books went with us to the over in the Russell office building. So we had to go through the library and we had to mark what books were going where. And then when the movers came in, we had to make sure that they had everything boxed correctly and that they were sending it off. And then, of course, when the boxes came back after we returned, Mark just shook his head because a lot of the books had been, I wouldn't say destroyed, but damaged in storage at Fort Meade because books are heavy and the boxes were evidently stored on top of each other, and the box at the bottom kind of lost the battle.
Okay. Last question. Christmas parties and stuff. I'm sure you've brought stuff in. Or do you have any refrigerator stories? I know Mark's done a lot cleaning out the refrigerator over the years. Or you may.
Mark is a brave man because there were things in the refrigerator I wouldn't even touch. But no, Mark just cheerfully a few days before the office party, I know Mark would go in and he'd put the chair in front of the refrigerator, and he'd open the door, and he'd sit there, and he'd look at it, and he'd shake his head, and then he'd just start gingerly pulling out packages and bags and opening and looking and tossing and looking for expiration dates. It was interesting. I don't know who's going to do the refrigerator now, but he will definitely be missed in that category.
Excellent. Okay.